everyone, it's Alyce, and I'm here today for August's episode of Bookbox Battle. So this is a bit earlier than we normally get to do Bookbox Battle because all of the boxes have been delivered ridiculously early this month, which I'm glad for because Illumicrate's box is one of my most anticipated of the whole year. I am super pumped to see what they've done with the book that they have chosen this month and to see all of the customizations on it and the other items in the box. OwlCrate I'm super pumped for because they've won the last 2 months and I can't wait to see what they've done this month to see if they've pulled out of the bag. And I'm always excited for FairyLoot because I love FairyLoot's customizations. So I am very excited about today's episode and I hope that you will enjoy opening these as much as I'm sure that I'm going to. So we're going to do OwlCrate last because they won last month, and we're going to do FairyLoot first because I'm so excited about Illumicrate that I want to wait a little bit longer before I get to it. So let's go ahead and open them. So I can remember nothing about what is in this month's FairyLoot. I can't remember the prompt. I can't remember the theme. Nothing. All I know is that I like FairyLoot books. So I'm sure I'm going to like what's in this box. I'll like at least one of the things that's in it. So we'll find out what the rest of the things are. Or like what all of the things are, because I have no idea. You can tell I didn't sleep very well last night. My brain's a little bit frazzled. So if this makes no sense for this whole video, I am sorry. But I'm filming it anyway because I'm too excited to wait until my brain is a bit more switched into gear. So, we start off with the spoiler card. As always, I won't look at this until I need to refer to it to see who the artists are or what the fandoms are if I don't recognise any of the artwork. But the theme for this month is Tell Me Lies. So we have straight away on top here a little kind of velvet case that has some astrological symbols on it, some kind of vines and some stars, some sun, and this is, oh, it's like a little jewellery case, so you can pop your rings in there, you can pop necklaces and things over here. Oh wow, I've never seen anything like this in a book box before. I don't know how much use I'll get out of this because I have a lot of jewellery, so I keep them in a few different places. But I think this would be really handy if I was going away somewhere and I wanted to make sure that I had some jewellery with me. If it was something a bit fancier and I was planning on dressing up, this would be a nice way of keeping it all together and making sure I knew exactly what I had and that I had all of it safely with me. And it's very nice and compact, so it will definitely fit in any kind of travel bag that you might need to use it with. And this is a celestial jewellery box designed by Jez Hawk. It's inspired by the featured book of the month, so we will find out what that is and learn more about that in a second. We also have, I see the word Red Rising. What is this? Oh my gosh, it's a tote bag that is designed to look like bookshelves. Okay, this is really sick because what have we got on him? We've got These Violent Delights. I haven't read it yet, but I'm interested in it. Once Upon a Broken Heart. Haven't read it yet, but I'm interested in it. The entire An Ember in the Ashes series. Haven't read it yet, but I'm interested in it. From Blood and Ash. Strange the Dreamer, which I loved. The Bear and the Nightingale, which I really enjoyed. Law by Alexandra Bracken. We've got the Caraval series. We've got Kingdom of the Wicked. We've got Spin the Dawn. We've got Shatter Me. Daughter of the Moon Goddess. Sorcery of Thorns. Six Crimson Cranes, Serpent and Dove, the City of Brass series, Jade Fire Gold, Ray Bearer and Redemptor, and then Red Rising, Golden Sun, and Morning Star down in the corner there. So out of all of the ones that I've read on there, I've read 5 books, and I think I've given all of them either 4 or 5 stars. So that is a good bag for me because it's mostly just a TBR bag. Maybe I'll do a video of like reading the books that are on this tote bag because that could be a good way of me actually getting some of the ones that I own ticked off of my list. But that's really cool. It's a bit skinnier at the top than some of the tote bags that they've done in the past. So the opening is a bit smaller, but it actually looks a bit deeper and it still does fold out. So you do get quite a lot of space in there compared to your typical tote bag. And it's a very thick material, so that's going to be quite hard wearing, so that will last you quite well when you're doing all of your book shopping. And that was designed by Chatty Nora. That's a really fun design for a tote. They've done a lot of totes with character artwork. They've done some totes with quotes on them, but I haven't seen anybody do a tote that's just like bookshelves, and I think that's nice and subtle. I think more people will likely get use out of that than they would out of some of the other totes. Then we have a Romeo and Juliet list pad designed by Katerina Book Designs. Ooh, so this is... These violent delights have violent ends, and it's a little list with like the little tick boxes. There's not really a lot of room to write on it, so it would be good for, say, grocery shopping if you had like a really little grocery list and you wanted to make sure you had it all. Possibly good for library books because you could just shorten it down to one word if you couldn't fit the whole title on there, or you can practice your really neatest, smallest handwriting. But it's quite small, so I don't know how much use I will get out of it, but the design is very pleasing. It looks kind of archaic, which is a nice design for it, especially where it's meant to be inspired by Romeo and Juliet rather than These Violent Delights, so it makes sense that it's got that kind of parchment feeling. So I quite like the design on that one. And again, a useful item, something that you can use rather than just decorate with. Then we have something that you can decorate with, because this is a gilded pin designed by No One Designs. And this is, this must be inspired by Gilded by Marissa Meyer. So FairyLoot have recently announced that they are doing the sequel to this book, which is called Cursed. And they did the first book in the series from last year. And this has a hand holding out the little town and the crown. And it's very gorgeous. It's got a lot of detailing for a pin that small. But definitely a design that I like. I like the kind of monochrome feel to it, so that can go onto one of my pin banners. And then we're going to have the tarot cards right at the bottom here. Oh, there's something else as well. Hang on. Oh, okay, we've got some more of the Mythology Bookmarks this month. So these are numbers 5 and 6. So that's going to be Horus? No, because they're not that type of mythology. This is Anansi and Aparte. I might be pronouncing those wrong, and I apologise if I am, but I don't know all that much about mythology. But I really do love these because they've just got the very subtle foiling on them, and I think it's such a stunning design. I've liked every one of the ones in this series. I definitely think this one might be my favourite so far. But they're definitely excelling themselves by popping those in every few months, because there's just something about a piece of artwork with like some very subtle foiling details that gets me every time. So I like those a lot. This is definitely a good box. And then we have the tarot cards, which are Justice and the Wheel of Fortune. And these are Joan as Justice and Nick and Aaron as the Wheel of Fortune from Only a Monster by Vanessa Len, which FairyLoot featured a few months ago, possibly last year. Yeah, I haven't read them yet, but again, tarot cards. Everybody likes the tarot cards, don't they? So then we will move on to the book. And I can see it's a lovely kind of reddy orange colour. So let us find out what she do be. Oh, we've got the theme bookmark in there. Again, brain not completely working. My apologies. We've got the fairy scoop that we get every month. We've got an author letter with some artwork on it. And the artwork is by Saint Dree. Oh, of course. Yeah, I should have remembered what this was. Because it's Violet Made of Thorns by Gina Chen, which OwlCrate did last month. And OwlCrate won with their copy last month because they had done some gorgeous foiled end papers, a completely redesigned cover. I just really loved everything that they had done with their edition. It's not just orange. It's like a sunset or a sunrise. A sunset, because the sun... Well, no, I guess... I'm going to go with it being a sunset, because it looks like the stars are coming out. But, ooh, that's a really pretty ombre. They don't often do ombre on the monthly books. That's normally just like the special editions. We have a signed book plate in there, which has the FairyLoot logo quite large at the bottom, which is an interesting choice for a book plate. We've got the end papers there, which match the author letter artwork. At the other end of the end papers, we have a different character looking up, which is kind of giving me Romeo and Juliet vibes. Like, she's leaning on her balcony and he's looking up and he's like about to climb up to her. And then we have the under the dust jacket, like on the hard case, we've got some artwork as well, which is very stunning. Some stars and a town. And all of that is designed by St. Dree. So this is very gorgeous. Violet is a prophet and a liar, influencing the royal court with her cleverly phrased and not always true divinations. Honesty is for suckers like the oh-so-not charming Prince Cyrus, who plans to strip Violet of her official role once he's crowned at the end of the summer, unless Violet does something about it. But when the king asks her to falsely prophesy Cyrus's love story for an upcoming ball, Violet awakens a dreaded curse, one that will end in either damnation or salvation for the kingdom, all depending on the prince's choice of future bride. Violet faces her own choice, seize control of her destiny no matter the cost, or give in to the ill-fated attraction growing between her and Cyrus. Violet's wits may protect her in the cutthroat court, but they can't change her fate. And as the boundary between hatred and love grows ever thinner with the prince, Violet must untangle a wicked web of deceit to save herself and the kingdom, or doom them all. So if I'm completely honest, I think I like the OwlCrate edition a little bit more, even though it didn't have sprayed edges, and the ombre sprayed edges on that edition are very gorgeous. I much preferred their redesigned cover, and I much preferred the foiled end papers over the character artwork on the end papers. I can give or take end papers either way. There's something about the foiling that OwlCrate have been doing on their end papers recently that is just quite a novelty, because it's something new and it's not something that I've seen done very often. But yeah, it's nice to have another edition of Violet Made of Thorns, especially one that is very different, but hopefully I'll love the book enough that I'll be happy to have both of them on my shelves. So now we will move on to Illumicrate, who have one of the most anticipated books of this year in this box. And it's one I know that I'm already going to end up with 3 copies of, because I pre-ordered the Waterstones edition as soon as it went up, and I know that it's going to be in FairyLoot Adult this month as well. So you'll be able to check back for my unboxing of that in a couple of weeks, because they have said that it's going to be delayed and it won't be out until the beginning of September. So at least I have a copy of this that has arrived, and so I can read it now if I'm ready to. If you don't know what it is yet, you're going to be so pumped when you see what's in here. Because, like, oh my god, how have you missed it? Because Illumicrate actually announced in their theme announcement what book they were doing for August. Because it was so overhyped. Because the theme is knowledge is power. And can you think of a certain dark academia book that might be coming out this month that everybody has been going on about? Because, yes, that's what they've picked. But we'll get to that in just a second. So, let us start from the beginning. We have a little bag here that has some swords on it. Straight off, I'm going to say this is inspired by the Atlas 6. I might be wrong, but it's given me Atlas 6 vibes. It's got some circles and some dots and some swords, and that's quite Atlas 6-y. And then we open that up, and it... Ooh. Is that a extendable water bottle holder in your pocket, or are you just pleased to see me? I was correct about it being the Atlas 6 because it has knowledge is carnage. You can't have it without sacrifice. Practice? Knowledge is carnage. You can't have it without sacrifice on there, which is a quote from the Atlas 6. I legitimately have no idea what this is. It feels like it's a little bit insulated, so I'm assuming it's one of those things that you can like put your water bottle in to keep it cool. But to be honest, to start with, I kind of thought it was a queen purse, and it's not a queen purse because it's grown to a remarkable level. And I can't think of what else it would be. What the fuck? Apparently it's a pencil case. What? Designed by Janine Lacour. The first time I've ever seen a pencil case like this. I've seen round pencil cases that open lengthways. I've seen round pencil cases that open around the top. I've never seen a round pencil case that is extendable. When are you supposed to break it back down? Are you supposed to be using up all of your stationery supplies? Are you just losing them all? Are we just, like, going to school and losing all of our supplies and then being like, shit, my pencil case is empty again. Let me fold it back down so I can fit it nice and comfortably in the bottom of my bag. And then I'll realise that I've already somehow got a broken zip on this thing. Because, like, every time I zip it, it doesn't... Oh, it did that time. Oh, that was weird. I was zipping it and it wasn't zipping, and then it did zip. Ha! I don't like this item. But that can be said. But yeah, are you just using all of your school supplies? I mean, like, I'll just flatten this down, put it in the bottom of my bag, get it home, fill it up, and then do the same tomorrow? I just have one of those pencil cases that, like, you bought it in August, and then you filled it up in September, and you just acquired random crap, and it got really stained, and you wrote messages all over it to your friends throughout the year. I have never known that this was a thing. If you have experienced this in the past, please do let me know in the comments, because I am baffled as to whether this is something that Illumicrate have just created themselves. Because it's an interesting thing to create. Being like, yeah, okay, what if we had a pencil case, but, like, flat? I'm going to move on because I'm so baffled by that one. Oh, look, a pin! I know what pins are. Pins, I understand. And I'm guessing this is going to be the item inspired by Bunny by Mona Awad, because it has a bunny on the pin badge packet, and it actually says underneath inspired by Bunny by Mona Awad, so I gave that away. Oh look, it has a crest, and it's a writing workshop enamel pin. Smut Salon. That's something to have on a pin badge, I guess. And this has lots of bunnies, and, like, it's cute, don't get me wrong, but I'm not the kind of person that's gonna have a pin badge that says Smut Salon attached to my bag. I haven't read Bunny yet. Maybe if I had, I would like that more. But it just seems like a bit of an odd one. Oh no, this is like my most anticipated box of the year, and I've had two items that I'm not the most impressed by. We then have an Illumicrate Stamp Set inspired by A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. So we'll open this up. Oh wait, who designed the pen? The pin was designed by Marta at Justelfit. And then this is... You got, like... I don't... Am I just really stupid, or do I not understand? We have one set of rubber stamps and one stamp block, but no ink. Which is kind of just as frustrating as when Illumicrate decided to put a black paper notebook in their box, and then no kind of gel pens or glitter pens or metallic pens or a white pen. So unless you had those supplies or were happy to go out and buy them, you couldn't use it. And again, we've got stamps and a stamp block, which I don't really understand. Do you, like, stick that to it and then put that in the ink and then stamp it? Again, I think I'm probably just too stupid for Illumicrate now, because I don't really understand. I don't understand the pencil case. I don't understand why you would think that it would be a good idea to do a stamp set and not put any ink in it. Is this because of that neon yellow pen? Because they did a neon yellow pen once, and it got, like, very caught up in customs in America. It took like 2 months to clear, so maybe they're just worrying about putting ink in things since then, because that would explain both of those issues. But like, maybe don't feature an item like this if you can't put the ink in, because where the fuck are you even supposed to buy ink from? I guess maybe the range, but it's not something that I can imagine a lot of people would know off the top of their heads, because it's not something I've never needed to buy before, because normally it just comes with the set. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to put that away. And I'm probably never going to use that, so that's handy. Wow, I really am just throwing my money away at this point, aren't I? So that is designed by Anna Veiling at Mohren Kunstshop. I will say, loving the fact that they're using some different artists this month. These are some artists' names that I've never seen featured before, and it's good to be able to represent a few more artists, and to be able to hype them up a bit more, so that is good to see. So I'm glad with that. This is the item I was most excited about, because it's their reading journal. They did a reading journal last year and it was gorgeous. It was red, kind of burgundy red, and they announced that they were doing a reading journal again this year, and I was very excited because I love the idea of reading journals. I never use them, but I love the idea of them. And this is very, very stunning. It's black with the foil and it's quite simplistic, but it's very eye-catching and it's a nice design. Doesn't have anything on the spine or on the back, so it's quite simple but effective. So we'll have a look inside and see what it's like. We've got, to start off with, This Book Belongs To, then A Year at a Glance. So you can start that whenever you'd like throughout the year. Goals, which it's good that they've got like a lot of goals on there, because it means that you'd be able to use it for series or for backlist or for pre-orders or for any kind of reading challenges that you are setting yourself throughout the year. You've got all of the books there that you can colour in when you finish reading them. Again, a good selection. You've got the monthly TBR with character artwork and a quote. So you can put the month in there. So again, you can start it whenever you want to. Title and TBR. Calendar, not dated. So again, you can fill that out yourself. Anticipated releases, you've got a place where you can pop little pictures, or I guess you could do an illustration if you wanted to. Book haul, so what you bought, when you bought it, and how much it cost. That could be good for me. That could help me be a little bit more accountable for my book buying. A weekly plan, with a habit tracker at the bottom. So, and then a reading log that says the date, the title, how many pages it was, and what you rated it. So that would be very handy for doing like wrap-ups, keeping on top of everything that you're reading each month. And then a monthly wrap-up, you put the 5-star read covers there, reading stats down the side there, your top read of the month, and then the different genres. So it's very handy. It's not as attractive as I remember the last one being, but I think the simple design might actually be easier for people if you haven't used a reading log before, haven't used a kind of reading journal before. Then this is a nice place to start, because it just does what you need. Like, it does what it says on the tin. You can just journal what you're reading, and there's no bells or whistles, but that's quite nice. And then at the end you have your favourite reads, favourite quotes, which would help me because I can never remember a quote to save my life, and any kind of notes you want to make. So you've got a few pages of notes, so that would again help quite a lot if there's something that you would like to say in a specific review that you don't have enough room for on the individual pages. Just link it to the back and then pop a little number on there, and you've got that nice and easy. So not as impressed by this as I thought I was going to be, but feeling more likely to use this one because of the fact that I'm not that enamoured with it visually, because I've got quite a few other ones that I just love the designs of so much that I'm terrified of fucking them up. So I keep them looking perfect on my shelf and I don't use them, which is completely beside the point of having them, but I'm like, I'll use them one day, and I never will. It's like those notebooks that you get when you've got the beautiful notebook and then you're like, but it's so special I can't use it. I'm one of those people. I like to keep things pristine, I like things to be perfect, but this one, because I'm not that enamoured with it, it might mean that it's actually where I start to use them, so that might work in my favour. But yeah, sadly not as excited about that one as I thought I was going to be. So just a little bit of a bummer overall so far this month. And that was designed by Madeline Ulshner, by Madeline Design, and the artwork inside was by Dree Gomez at St. Dree. Then I can see we've got some bookmarks down the side here, so I'm assuming this is going to be another Merwild set. Yeah, this is by Merwild & Co. And these are Babel bookmarks. Oh, does that give away what the book might be? These are very stunning. The Merwild bookmarks always are. They're always very popular sets because they're very high quality and they have the two-sided design. So they're very beautiful. Features all of the main characters from our book of the month, which is in here. So let's see what they've done. I knew I had a slipcase and I like the slipcase. The slipcase is very stunning. It has the foil with the title on the spine, and then it has the spires of, I believe it's set in Oxford, on either side. God, I've got to be so careful opening this up. We're good. We're good, we're in. There we go. Okay, so very gorgeous. And then we have the book, which is a naked hardcover. You've got the inside of the tower, and you can see some little characters doing some shiznit. Same on the front and the back. Ooh! Oh, that was a surprise. It says, an act of translation is always an act of betrayal. Ooh, so then we got black at the top and the bottom. That stunning quote on the pages there. And then we have the signed tip-in page there, which says, from the Library of Babel, Illumicrate exclusive. Then we've got property of the Royal Institute of Translation at the University of Oxford on the end papers there. And then a different end paper at the back. So this is very stunning. I knew it was going to be. As soon as they said it had a slipcase, I was very excited. I love the fact that it's kind of like the very opalescent kind of foiling, so you get a few different colours coming through there. It's not just like very one-dimensional. The stars on the slipcase are also foiled, which is very beautiful. Not a book that I am going to read because it is too beautiful, but it's going to look absolutely stunning on my shelf, and I will have to read one of the other editions that I have arriving because this is just too nice. Traditor. An act of translation is always an act of betrayal. 1828. Robin Swift, orphaned by cholera in Canton, is brought to London by the mysterious Professor Lavelle. There he trains for years in Latin, ancient Greek and Chinese, all in preparation for the day he'll enroll in Oxford University's prestigious Royal Institute of Translation, also known as Babel. Babel is the world's centre of translation and, more importantly, of silverworking, the art of manifesting the meaning lost in translation through enchanted silver bars to magical effect. Silverworking has made the British Empire unparalleled in power, and Babel's research in foreign languages serves the Empire's quest to colonise everything it encounters. Oxford, the city of dreaming spires, is a fairy tale for Robin, a utopia dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge. But knowledge serves power, and for Robin, a Chinese boy raised in Britain, serving Babel inevitably means betraying his motherland. As his studies progress, Robin finds himself caught between Babel and the shadowy Hermes Society, an organisation dedicated to sabotaging the silverworking that supports imperial expansion. When Britain pursues an unjust war with China over silver and opium, Robin must decide. Can powerful institutions be changed from within, or does revolution always require violence? What is he willing to sacrifice to bring Babel down? Unfortunately, I don't know if that is enough to redeem them and make them a winner this month, because I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty bummed out with the rest of it. This has been happening more and more with Illumicrate throughout this year. So I'm sadly not even surprised at this point. But at least I like the design of Babel. which is important because I have been very excited by that, and if I hadn't liked it after this long I would have been very sad because I've been very pumped. But now it's time to move on to OwlCrate. So I will try to find my scissors that I have slipped down here. And as I said, OwlCrate have won the last 2 months. So based on the fact that FairyLoot have absolutely blown me away, and Illumicrate's book design is stunning, even if I'm not enamoured with the rest of the items, OwlCrate do have a challenge on their hands this month, but we will see whether they can rise to the occasion. So we have the spoiler card, which is steeped in folklore. Straight off I can see another Lord of the Rings breakfast bowl. This is a quarterly collection. They're doing 4 throughout the year. This is the 3rd one, and they've all gone to my friend Gary because he loves Lord of the Rings and I don't like Lord of the Rings, so at least this is a good present to give to my friend. And this one is some kinda Lord of the Rings thing. Rivendell. Okay. It's a bowl. It's Lord of the Ringsy. I'm sure all of the Lord of the Rings fans really, really love those, but they're just not going to be for me because it's not a book series that I've ever been able to get on with. This features the magical elvish sanctuary of Rivendell, and that is Ginning Liqueur. We've got some puffy stuff. Cha-chum-chum. Why? Why would I make myself have to clean that up afterwards? Literary luggage pin. Okay, I love these things every single month. These are designed by Hey Atlas Creative, and I think they do an absolutely amazing job every month. And this one is Sail Through the Port of Seros on the Marigold. I love the colour scheme. A lot of them have been on the darker side, so we've had some blacks, some greys, like a kind of muted purple, but I love that very, very vibrant blue. And this is inspired by Fable, which, again, why did I just throw it? I haven't read yet, but I am interested in reading, and even more so now that I know it has such a gorgeous boat in it. We then have another little OwlCrate pouch, and this has an enamel zipper pull inspired by The Wolf and the Woodsman by the Pickety Witch. So this just clips onto your zipper and then you can pull it. That's actually quite handy because I do have a jacket that has a broken zip, so I may be able to rescue it with that. I don't know if it's going to morph like bags and things if you've got like a finicky zip, or if you've got a pencil case with a broken zip. Then you can clip it on and get it a bit easier that way. But also I think that's kind of too stunning to use. I wouldn't want to scratch out because it's a very gorgeous little item. And again, it's decorative and useful, which I like about OwlCrate. They have been doing that a lot recently, going for aesthetically pleasing items that also have a strong use, which is always nice. Next up we have a pouch of tea from Riddle's Tea Shop. This is honey bush tea, apple pieces, decaf Ceylon tea, cocoa nibs, cinnamon, natural banana flavour, natural chestnut flavour, marigold flowers, and natural vanilla flavour. So, it's meant to be banana bread. Well, I'm not going to open this up, and I can't smell it through the packet, but we will see if I can give that a go. Because I do like banana bread and it would be interesting if it actually tastes like that. But yeah, not something that I feel enamoured towards because I'm not a big tea drinker. I never have been. But OwlCrate are featuring drinks a lot less frequently, so I don't mind them popping up occasionally. We've then got some kind of thing in a pouch. Possibly a pillowcase. Yes, a pillowcase. Oh no, not a pillowcase. It's like a tapestry thing. There was a song in the forest. Oh, it's inspired by Uprooted, and it's designed by Eden Cook. Oh, the enamel zipper pull was also designed by Joan of Arc. It was the Pickety Witch and Joan of Arc, so that's cool. I'm not a fan of tapestries. Not something that I get any use out of, really. We don't have the space for it in our house. so it's not something I'm going to use myself. It's quite a simple design, and I know that a lot of people complain when they're very overtly bookish because they're like, no, it's not subtle, and I've got like a theme I go for in my house. So I can see that they're appealing to those people, but tapestries just don't do it for me. I've never used a single one of the ones that I've gotten, and I kind of just think that they're a bit of a space waste. But again, personal preference. That's kind of the point with these boxes. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. So, we'll keep going. To this day, cranes carry the strands of our fate. So I'm guessing it's 6 crimson cranes. It's definitely 6 crimson cranes. Oh, this is quite cute. It's an origami set for folding your own cranes, and it comes with the instructions for how to do it. Oh, that's very sweet. Very useful, because like if you don't want to use it as origami paper, you can use it for other things. But if you'd like to learn how to do origami cranes, which is always something I've wanted to be able to do, then you've got the chance to be able to do that as well. Not something I can remember being featured in any of the book boxes before, so that's a nice little feature. And this is designed by Kim Ekdahl. We've included folding instructions for cranes, but feel free to get creative with your own origami pieces. That's very cute. They're definitely going with like trying to get people more creative this year, which I think is very sweet. And then we have the book, which is actually another one that I got last month and I'd forgotten. Try not to die. First of all, we also have the Owl Babble and the spoiler card for next month, which is Memento Mori, and every September box includes an exclusive handboard candle from Flick the Wick, who I didn't even think was still a company. They used to do Flick the Wick quite regularly, so that'll be a nice blast from the past. But yes, this month is The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd-Jones, which Illumicrate featured last month. But OwlCrate have done both of Emily Lloyd-Jones' previous books, The Hearts We Sold and The Bone Houses. So I wasn't surprised when they announced that they were doing this one. I had managed to completely forget that that was this box. But if I'm honest, I kind of like the cover more because it matches the previous ones. And I like the vibe with this. The Illumicrate ones are very, very blue and very, very oceany. And those kind of stories don't always appeal to me. But this is very beautiful. So we've got in there some end papers at the front and the mirror image of the end papers at the back. We've got some under the dust jacket artwork with some ghostly spooky horses. And I will just see who has designed these. So the reversible dust jacket art was designed by Gabriella Bugdoso. The end papers are by Niru.Sky. And as always, we have the foil stamps on the front and the back of the hardcover, which are designed by Tess Medovich at Paperback Bones. So The Ocean Was Immortal and Patient is the front one. I like the fact that we've got the black strip there because it makes the foil look very, very central. Because sometimes I find with some of the foil stamps that they look a bit off-centred, but having that black line there makes it look very, very perfect. And I'm guessing it's going to be signed. Yes, it is. The Rights Cause from Top of the Kingdom. Once upon a time, the kingdoms of Wales were rife with magic and conflict. An 18-year-old Mererid, or Mer, is well acquainted with both. As the last living water diviner, she can manipulate water with magic, and it's a skill many would kill to possess. For years, Mer has been running from the prince who bound her into his service and forced her to kill hundreds with her magic. Now all Mer desires is a safe, quiet life far from power and politics, but that peace is disrupted when Mer's old handler returns with the proposition. Use her abilities to bring down the very prince who abused them both. With a motley crew of allies, including a fey-cursed young man, the Lady of Thieves, and a corgi that may or may not be a spy, Mer must decide whether to run for the rest of her life or stand and fight for the true freedom she's long desired. Part heist novel, part dark fairy tale, this immersive and ethereal fantasy from acclaimed author Emily Lloyd-Jones will enchant readers until the very last page. So, that's OwlCrate. And I don't think it's going to be a surprise to anybody when I say that FairyLoot have won this month, because they're just the box that I enjoyed the most, which is fine. Some you win, some you lose, some. I'm just not into Illumicrate items, so that is one thing we can say straight away. Don't put an item in the box that I then have to go out and spend more on. The cost of living is rising. People are trying to cut back on spending. They're not trying to pay for an item that they can't actually get any use of unless they have an ink pad in their house already, or they're willing to buy more to use it. I think that's ridiculous. No negative comments towards OwlCrate. I'm not a personal fan of the tapestries, but I'm sure some people have already pinned those up because Uprooted is a very popular book, and as I said, it's a nice subtle design, so I'm sure a lot of people are going to love having that up in their house, but it's just not the one for me. And the Lord of the Rings bowls, again, not the one for me because I don't like Lord of the Rings. So it was an unfortunate case with OwlCrate that it was a few items that just didn't appeal to me personally all at once. I mean, I'm sure Illumicrate have managed to impress a lot of people with that box, especially if you've already got an ink pad at home. But I don't know what the fuck's going on with that weird folding pencil case thing, because, like, why do I need to expand a pencil case? You could just put a pencil case in. It's not going to really take up that much more space. It's, like, there is room in the box for a pencil case that doesn't need to be expanded. So I'm not quite sure why they would make that choice. But I love the FairyLoot tote bag. I love the FairyLoot ombre edges on the book. Maybe it's just something about Violet Made of Thorns that it's that book. Because OwlCrate easily won it last month with that, and FairyLoot have easily won it with this month. I'm so surprised that Illumicrate haven't won, because knowing that they were doing Babel and knowing that it had a slipcase and how gorgeous that edition is, I kind of thought I'd be able to justify it anyway, especially that combined with the reading journal. That should have been my favourite box of this year, but that is just making me feel even more like switching on to book only, because, like, god fucking damn it, who needs an expandable pencil case? It is what it is. As I said, all of this is personal. All of this is personal preferences and personal opinions. So if you love the expandable pencil case, then you do you. I'm sure that you'll have a lot of fun expanding it and putting your pencils in it. But that was a surprising episode of Book Box Battle. If you like this one, please give it a like. And if you'd like to leave a comment down below letting me know whether you agree, whether you disagree, if you think that the right box won, or if you would have picked a different winner. If you think that I've been too nice to some of these boxes or too harsh to some of them, it'd be interesting to have conversations about that. If you'd like to subscribe, we'd be super duper grateful, because we are edging so close to 1,000, which is just baffling. I don't know where you're all coming from, but thank you so much for the continuing support. Thank you for watching. I'm Alyce, this is the Bumbling Blogger, and congratulations to FairyLoot for winning this month's Book Box Battle. Bye! What was that? That was the cheesiest outro I've ever done. Oh. Hello, Sean. I did not read out any blurbs because I don't think Babel had a blurb, and I'd already read Violet Made of Thorns and The Drowning Woods last month. Drowned Woods. But you like me reading out the blurbs for you to do the close-ups. So I'm going to read out the blurbs now, and this is my apology that you're going to have to, like, wham jam slam them in while you're editing. But at least I realise now. So we'll start off with Violet Made of Thorns, which also, like, I didn't even notice, has one of those ribbon bookie marks in here too. So it's even better than I thought it was.